Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me good?
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to meet you, my friend. How are you doing on this fine day?
Thank you very much, Yamato. I really appreciate it.
No, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Where are you from? Tell me.
Switzerland.
Oh, okay. Switzerland.
Yeah.
I've only been to Switzerland once and I want to go back, but it was fucking expensive, dude.
Yeah, it's really expensive, man. But aren't you from Sweden? It should be fun for you, no?
It was okay. I guess Sweden's kind of expensive too. I'm just visiting now and I just paid 16 euro for Subway. I feel fucking robbed here in Sweden as well.
Yeah, I live here and I even feel the scam when I buy food here. It's so expensive, man. You're not wrong.
I think the whole world is struggling right now. We are in an economical recession, but at least we can play League of Legends. So.
Yeah. At least we can do that.
For sure, for sure. Tell me about yourself. What makes you want to play League? What is interesting about League for you?
Well, I'm a very competitive person, and League is just the perfect game for me to be competitive in, because League is like also very competitive.
Mm-hmm.
I just like pushing myself like to my limits. Like I like improving. That's like the fun part of League for me. Like I don't enjoy the game. I enjoy like learning and improving. That's the part I enjoy.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Is there any players that you look up to, that you take inspiration from? Like, how does that process look for you when you're looking to improve?
Yeah, like who I look up to is like Maggie Felix, because he's like also playing Karma a lot, but he's playing it like mid-lane. And I would say Hillsang. Like I like everybody from Fnatic. Like Fnatic is like my favorite team.
Okay.
And yeah, I like watch like every esport game from Fnatic. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I don't like I have some friends who I sometimes watch on Twitch. Well, like high elo. Like yeah, I don't know if you know Wahid. He's like top 20. He's Akali OTP.
It rings a bell, but at the same time not. It's not a loud bell. So please continue.
He doesn't stream often.
Okay.
He just streams rarely, but yeah. Like I try to watch always my replays and try to analyze it myself. But of course I'm not as good as a coach like you at doing that.
It's just spending countless hours looking at the screen. It adds up.
Yeah. But it is worth it in the end. Like if I can learn something, it is worth it.
Yes. I wanted to ask why. So in this moment, do you feel like you're actively improving, or do you feel like you've reached kind of like a stop for yourself? Like where do you feel like you are in your improvement?
No, I think currently I'm improving.
Okay. I
just thought it is interesting to have like a coach's opinion about like my gameplay, because there's for sure things I cannot see myself, like mistakes I do macro-wise, pretty much. And yeah, I think I'm improving. It just I currently stopped playing because it's like pre-season. The game quality is shit. People are like trolling. They're like for funning it.
Yeah.
So I'm like currently like taking it a bit easy, playing other games and stuff.
No, it makes sense. It's like this is the issue. Like I had a lot of people apply, and I wanted people to bring a game that they feel like they could learn a lot from, right? To just make the process a lot more simple.
Yeah.
And everyone has the same issue that right now there is no game. It's like every game is over in 10 minutes, or there is some champion with a ravenous hydra and Yaksho in the game, and the game is quite ridiculous. But I'm sure there are certain things that we can take away from this game that maybe are still applicable by the end and by the start of season 13.
Yeah, I hope so. You said I should prepare one question. I have like 5. I don't know.
Well,
like,
yeah, you can ask. You can ask away. Like this is us spending time together. So whatever comes to your mind, if something is unclear of what I'm saying or so forth, we are supposed to build a repertoire in a very short amount of time. It's like usually when I work with my players, I spend hours on hours every day with them, and you begin to develop a way to communicate with one another, right?
Yeah,
and
sure.
It's important that if you ever feel like something is unclear, that you just jump in and you just ask, just ask right away.
Sure.
You just really make use of the time that we spend together. That would be the best gift you can give yourself and also to me, because
Okay, nice.
because in the end, you know, I need to challenge my mind to think about the game in a different way and to deliver that information to you. So for me, that's also very beneficial. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I will ask you after the game then. I think it makes more sense.
Okay, sure. Why did you choose this game? What stood out to you? Like, why did you want to choose this game? I'm gonna start streaming the game for you on Discord so you see it as well.
To be honest, it's like the only replay I have. Like
Okay.
all my other games are like they're too old. I can like literally not show you the replay of it. That's like the only replay I had.
Okay.
Like my games are like all 20 days or longer. Like I cannot watch the replay anymore. That's like the only replay I had.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. I respect that you jump on the opportunity. I can't stream it in a better fashion because I'm on my brother's setup, and he has a widescreen. So I can't. If I full screen it, this is how like it looks. It's very stretched out, and on the stream it looks like they only see half the screen. So I need to show it in this fashion.
Okay,
All right.
don't worry, it's fun for me.
I think we just we let the game play, and I'll give you feedback depending on what I see. You are running attack speed runes.
Yeah, for better trading. I like it.
Okay.
And it's also better for clearing wards because I have like the issue when I don't run attack speed on Karma. I can clear like one ward.
Okay.
And it kind of sucks.
And your conclusion on the difference between Airy and Comet, you have experimented with both? Because I know that this is a preference thing.
It's like one of the questions I wanted to ask you. I think there are like some matchups where I should play Airy, but I'm not sure about that. That's what I wanted to ask you. Normally my playstyle is like I wanna play for early game, when I have like the wave advantage and roam and play for my jungle. Because most of the time like ADCs in like low elo they're like kind of bad.
Okay.
It's for me hard to win sometimes lane because they're like griefing me.
Yeah. No, it's like in fights that happen longer. I think most of the time, Airy, you should be able to proc it multiple times. I don't know exactly how many times you can get a comet off because the comet cooldown goes down with the W ticking as well. But I'm sure in all-ins, Airy should be slightly better. At least in my experience, I've played more Airy, but I know that. Like I've seen the best of the best also play with Comet, and there's been occasions where I play Comet too. Like in this particular matchup, right? At least Karma, even though she's a range support, in a lot of matchups when you play against weaker supports, you become the all-in support because you can easily just like I'm assuming you're playing Nimbus Cloak, right? You can Nimbus Cloak, you can find all-ins with your Ignite and W and in all-in situations you're quite strong, especially if you can burn through and apply your full W and get your mantra cooldown down, especially like after 6 it becomes a lot easier.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the attacks because I think in this rune slot I think all three are decent. I think it's completely fine.
I think Karma's flexible when it comes to that.
Yeah, I think in the past it was better to play attack speed for sure because of how the passive worked, but after they reworked her to only get cooldown down with abilities, I think it's more of a open conversation. But I think I personally play adaptive force most of the time because just the extra bonus boost of damage it feels good in a lot of cases. But I think we don't need to get stuck on this one. I think attack speed is perfectly fine with your reasoning, so I think it's good. The rest of the runes, what do you play in your second tree? Because it's not showing, and I'm just gonna play. Maybe you show me.
Wait, I can show you the. I can show you the League of Graphs. You can see my runes and when I bought which items. I run Nimbus Cloak, Transcendent.
Okay, that makes sense.
Scorch.
Yeah, Scorch. Yeah.
Because of early game power.
Shit, I don't know how to use the site.
Perfect timing and Biscuit. I normally don't run Biscuit. I go like what is it? Cosmic Insight, I think.
Okay.
And yeah, that's it. I pretty much run these runes every game. Like unless it's like engage support, I don't bring Biscuit delivery because it's kind of pointless because it's more about all ends.
Okay. I guess the main thing that you can consider is also like perfect timing or perfect timing this game for a specific reason. No, there's nothing really that stands out that really gets punished by stopwatch. But like if you, I think in a lot of cases boots. It's a preference thing, right? At least in my case, I feel whenever I play Spell Thief support or when you're playing a Spell Thief support, leveraging your usually you can, if you're pressuring your lane, you can generate more gold than any other support that is playing Relic Shield or whatever. If you can actively like press your buttons and proc your spell thieves, that you can finish your mythic very very early, and allowing you to not buy boots in this condition also feels quite decent. But I know also from experience that when it comes to solo queue, being able to buy boots on first base and crossing through mid and having boots earlier on can feel really really good. So I don't feel too passionate about, you know, making you go boots in runes. I think it's perfectly fine what you've done. I think Nimbus.
That's exactly why I don't take it. Like I wanna get my boots as fast as possible because I wanna, you know, pressure as much as I can early game. Because Karma falls off compared to any other enchanter. She gets like kind of bad. I wanna do as much as I can early game. At least that's like my goal.
Okay. I think as long, I think the main thing with Karma later on is if you manage to get multiple mantra ease off in fights, especially when you have Shirelia, I think that Karma's fall off isn't as harsh as it comes across. I think a very common mistake that I see is that it's like people tend to move in the direction of using mantra Q when it's not necessary, and not burning your mantra to just accelerate your team with E, especially when you buy Shirelias, right? Because you apply the buff to everybody. You know, this is a very very common thing. It feels good to do damage.
Yeah, and especially like if you build like anti-heal and you can apply to the entire team, it makes more sense to just shield.
Yes, for sure. Here, when you know that now most likely Maokai leached topside, and you have a situation where you know that Trundle is pathing into bot, what crosses your mind if you are playing with that information now, if you're looking at the screen?
Yeah, I know he's gonna take some time until he's bot lane. I see Severus trying to push the wave, so I help him with that. That's like what my thought process was. Want to shove in the first wave. I normally would have slow pushed this, and went for the level 2 advantage on the second wave, and then I would have maybe all end. Then I would have like played a bit passive because I know then Trundle's bot lane.
Okay. Yeah, the main thing in matchups like this, right, is that if you're ever in a situation like you want to maintain momentum by pushing, as long as you're pushing, you are stronger and you get more opportunities to poke, and it'll be much harder for enemy support to charge spell thieves. Usually there's if you play against a jungler that can look to level 3 gank, like now in the current with the jungle changes, most junglers can full clear to level 4, but a lot of them can also look for level 3 gank. In Trundle's case, at least what it used to be traditionally, right? It's like in the meta before the pre-season changes, it was often most junglers, they were looking for quick level 3, and then they look to pressure. What you can do in this matchup in particular is if you stack the first wave with the second and you crash, this is good timing to ward, and then you cover yourself from a level 3 gank. And the main trick here is that the main problem here that you can run into is if the enemy jungler wants to spend time to cross through mid. At competitive level play, usually you work together to cover both angles. If you're playing a bot lane matchup like this, like if you're playing Civic Karma, you want to just push 2 waves, ward, and then just keep hitting the wave as it comes and harass the enemy guy on the tower and play for plating and just make them hate their life. And then they're playing Trundle, Janna, and Jhin. As long as you know where Trundle is, it's very hard to set up a gank. Usually the mid laner also supports this by placing a ward on Pixel, so you can't get ganked from the behind angle. But usually when you're playing like this, like Sivir is kind of over pushing because you guys should be stronger level 1. She should be slow pushing, as you said. That's a good point that you made. Like slow push this.
That's exactly what I wanted to do, but like I didn't know. Like I was just pushing, so I thought I pushed 2 because I know I can't fucking crash on second wave because she kind of fucked up the wave.
For sure.
And that's why I did that. Because I didn't know what else to do.
Because here definitely what you can do is if you walk into the wave and you AD, like if you're in a position here, you guys swap the ward, so it's perfectly fine. You guys swap the ward, you can look to trap and to stay, to karma Q them as they walk into lane, whatever, you can do that. What you can do as well is you can win the push by hitting the range and going into the bush to reset the aggro, and you don't hit the melees. Because the most important thing is that the melees die on the same time. But because of Sivir over pushing, the melees die quick, and Jhin can actually walk up to Q them without any punishment at all. This is the main thing, right? You can win the push by hitting the ranged, but you can make the melees die at the same time. And this is where you can get chip damage, you know?
You mean like auto-attack the ranged minions?
So basically you can play it in a way, I think it's easier later if I show you maybe in practice tool, because there's a way to manipulate the wave to just hit the range without the melees aggroing you, and you can tag in and out of the bush, and in this particular case then, you can make the melees die at the same time, but still win the push because the ranged minions have less HP. Because here, with how Sivir played, right, just because she's hitting the wave, it means that right now, if I'm Jhin, I don't need to walk on the wave ever. I will not get karma queued, I will not get hit by Sivir, because I know these melee minions will not die on time. So right now, Janna and Jhin, they are very happy because they're in a position where, wow, I'm going to chill and to relax, you know? I don't need to walk on the wave. But in a scenario where these melee minions would die same time, then you could hold your karma queue, and then when Jhin looks to walk up to the wave and queue it, you can also just punish him with the mantra queue. Because here you're walking forward, you're mantra queuing them, but this Jhin and Janna, they have no reason to walk up for just yet. You know?
Yeah, because we are hard pushing it.
Yes, yes. There's another trick that you can do to manipulate the wave to make all the melees hit one melee, but I think this is also something that I can just show you in practice tool. Is a little bit easier to describe. Yeah, this is a very good one.
I know that the one with the ranged minions. I would be like, it would be nice if you could show me that later.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I did a kind of a bad job of scheduling my day today. I was in meetings, and then my meeting went over, and then now we're talking. There's a chance that maybe we schedule another session just to make sure that you know, I'm fair to you, and you know, you definitely, you know, you feel like we've taken the time together to really talk about everything.
Yeah, it's completely fine. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
So we just continue play. Very important here, right? It's like never use your karma mantra unless you know that the Jhin needs to commit to do something. You increase your odds of hitting. It becomes, if you know the Jhin is going to walk up to auto a minion to kill a minion, you need to pay attention to your own minion HP, then you can punish him. It's very important. Because here, Jhin is in no pressure at all. He doesn't need to anything. He's on vacation right now. But now he can walk up, maybe this melee minion. Imagine you had mantra Q and you stayed in this third bush.
That was really bad.
Yes, yes. This is also very important, right? That you, if they're giving you space, that you stay in the third bush in such a matchup. Because always when you stay in the bush, either you can make them burn a ward in the third bush, you can make them burn a ward, or you can be in a position where they have to pay HP because you have initiative. Because when you're in the bush, you theoretically make yourself a lot larger, right? It's like when you're in the bush, you can be in any position of the bush and your range extends outside of the bush because they don't see you. I don't know if you see my mouse. I don't have a drawing tool, sadly. Like if you're in the bush, in theory, you become a lot, your range becomes, effective range becomes a lot larger. So as long as you queued here, and you can stay in this bush, and what you could do is, you could, for example, when he is walking for that wave, you can look to tag in with one auto, and then as the auto lands, go back into the bush to play with the Fog of War, right? Especially because you have that attack speed rune, you need to put that to use, yeah?
Yeah.
So make them pay a price to make you come out of that bush. But when the second wave is coming, it's very important that you get out of that bush, because you can no longer trade, right? This is their time to take over the bush, because the minions will hit you and they will chase you, right? So if you stand in this third bush when the second wave is coming and they ward it, you can lose a lot of HP and you could take a very bad trade. So it's very important to pay attention to that too. Okay. Here Trundle is not doing a good decision because he's going to be too late to invade most of the time if he goes for the bot gank.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I should move there or not.
I think it's good to be in Fog of War and to make them think about it, especially if Janna moves. It's like as long as Janna doesn't show, you can definitely move too, because the wave is still pushing into you, so you're not really losing any experience with how the wave was. How the wave was, we saw at one particular screen. Like here, it's slow pushing towards you, so you're not losing anything by just hiding in Fog of War. As long as they like the same way with the bush. If you are going into Fog of War, you also make yourself a lot bigger. It's like you can be bot, you can be next to Darius, and in a scenario where there's an all-in fight, Syndra hovers first, and it's not going to be that good for them.
Okay.
So for example here, right? Imagine you're not standing here. You don't lose anything. Right now you spend time doing nothing. because of how the wave was slow pushing towards you. Even if you lose the melee XP of 1 or 2 minions, doesn't make that big of a difference. It's very important that you make sure that Darius finishes his clear here, and I think in a 2v2 scenario you guys can potentially fight back. Trundle is quite strong with lethal tempo, so it could get close. But at least as long as they are looking to enter, maybe Darius has a ward to place. I don't know if he was the one placing the ward on the Raptor camp, I don't remember. And here in this moment, considering this bot wave, you're not going to lose anything by moving.
Okay.
Because here you're just a spectator and you can't pressure the Jhin because the wave is too big. Darius flashed, okay. What made you film it like this? I'm just curious.
Sorry?
So basically, I don't see the CS score, I don't see items. I also don't see I don't see these details. I'm curious what made you film it like this, you know, the replay.
I didn't know how to do it otherwise. Like, that's like the first time I actually recorded a replay. I'm sorry.
Okay. No problem at all. I just wanted to make sure that as long as you know that this information is important, then I'm happy.
No, I know it is.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I couldn't do it better.
You not understanding the technical side of showing a replay, I don't care about this, because in the end this is not going to affect your gameplay. So this part of it is fine. I just wanted to make sure that you understand that the items and the CS and whatever, everything, this is very important information for you to make decisions. Okay. Perfect. I'm happy. Always be in a position where you leverage your spells, and here this trade isn't super convenient because you just burnt your mantra Q, you burnt your Q, and you're trading in the wave, right? Yeah, even though you guys are much stronger, you're giving them a little chance here.
Yeah.
But here, for example, it reverses, right? Because Janna used Q, Jhin is reloading, and you have your W off. It reverses very quickly. That they are kind of overextending the trade, the way they are playing it.
Yeah, they should have just stopped.
Yes. Also, in moments like this, when you know that they overstepped, it's very important to recognize that right away, so you can tether to their movement. Meaning that you want to stay in the pocket of their range.
Okay.
To look to create an opportunity for yourself to fight, because here they overstepped. It's like the moment this trade occurred, and then Janna goes like this to Q. This is already way too far.
Yeah.
They have no tools left. First they look to punish you for using your spells, but now they use their spells and everything is in return. Everything is in reverse. Janna, of course, she is only level 2 because she lost a lot of XP when Jhin was slow pushing out towards you. In this particular position, if you look to posture to trade aggressively here, you're going to be able to Q. You're going to be able to walk on them, speed yourself up. Jhin has no bullets, Janna has no spells. This could be very dangerous for them, this position. Especially because you see Trundle mid, right? He's crossing after doing the grab, he's looking to double grab. Everything is pointing towards the fact that here there's a potential for a good all-in here for you. Because, for example, here now your W is off cooldown, and you could have maintained that same distance close to them, right?
Yeah. I just backed because of Jin's 4 shot.
Yes. I'm just gonna check the mini wave again. It's very important that principle is built for you. You know, that you actively look to tether your movement to the opposition and to throw your spells in moments where they are actually actively like posturing forward. Like here Jhin makes a mistake, right? And it provides you with an opportunity. Here he walks forward when he shouldn't.
Yeah, because I've shut up.
Yes. Yeah, this Sivir is using her mana kind of bad. She's not playing so well in terms of her mana usage. And it's like here, you guys are slow pushing, and it's very important that you want to maintain the size of your wave, because you want to be the one always slow pushing. You don't want to overhit the wave, because you don't want to make it crash too early. But if Jhin is hitting the wave and Janna is hitting the wave, you need to match it, because you don't want to allow them to thin out the wave.
Okay.
So basically, in this spot here, they're hitting the wave. We need to keep hitting the wave with them as well. So like, don't be shy to just throw a Q into the wave. Don't be shy to do it. You know. Another thing to keep in mind as well is that don't be shy to be playing in the bush, and always be the one in the aggressive position. Okay. Because always how they're going to play is that they're going to always play behind the wave of where your position is. But it becomes a little bit more difficult if you're in the bush because of what we mentioned before, that your range is extended, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this is good. She overextended with her Q. This is good. Like here, she just walks forward for no reason. You look to punish. Like she needed to hit this Q to break the chain, and it's a good punish. I'm just gonna look again at your HP and see if you needed to burn your flash. Because I don't think you're necessarily in kill range, but
I wasn't sure because the Severe played like a bit. I don't know.
Yeah, she played a bit iffy.
It was risky for me.
Yes, but this was very good. Like the mistake that Jana did right is that she's crossing over to your side when she's weaker than you, when in reality she should just be keeping her distance and looking to hit the wave as much as possible. And she looked to Q you because she got eager to use her spell thieves, but it didn't work out. Very good. Okay, this was good. I'm looking now at your map opener. It's a principled thing to always open through mid. It's an important aspect of the game. I'm happy that you open through mid. It's very important though that always when you open through mid, you have to ask yourself, if you open through mid, will you be able to connect into bot again, going the aggressive path? The reason this is important, right, is because if you go through mid and you are weaker around mid, or your jungler is not around and the enemy jungler is around, you'll have to take such a long path into bottom that the enemy jungle and support, if they're playing well together, is that they can cut you off in your movement through the jungle.
Yeah, what they normally do is they hide in the river bush with the support.
Yeah.
But I thought it's fine because I have boots. I wanted to go mid and do something mid.
Yes,
my target was top side. I wanted to make a place top side.
No, in this particular case, it's no problem at all with your decision. I'm just sharing this piece of information that it's very principled for you to go through mid, and it's very good to always look to do that if everything allows. But the main thing that you always need to ask yourself as you do this is, will you be able to take the aggressive path back into bot? Meaning, will you be the one to be able to go through river to connect into bot again? Or will you be able to be on time to be on the wave that crashes bot? That's the most important thing. Because you always have two options, or three options, or honestly more options than three. Like you can run to enemy jungle and harass the Trund while he's doing camps. That's also an option. You can go top and gank, you can go mid, you can go bot. The main piece of information you always want to look for is from what you're telling me, it sounds good. You are looking at what your Syndra and Darius is doing. There is some fight here. You spot Jana and Veigar. You want to go through mid and you want to connect with what's happening here in the game. That's a very good way of viewing things. I'm happy with that. The main thing that you could, if you feel like there's nothing for you to do here, because Darius is doing golems and Syndra is going to be able to catch and Jana is actually just doing nothing, is that you can go bot already. And Jhin right now, he's in a spot. I don't see the wave. But Jhin is in a spot where he's slow pushing wave out, and he's not going to be on time to push that wave if you are bot to pressure him. And this is a position where you could potentially fuck with him a lot, if you want to run straight bot. I just want to give you that option too. What did you say? Sorry.
I was doing that. I went bot lane and I killed him there.
Okay. So he doesn't even push on time, even with you going bot. Okay.
No.
Okay.
I know Jana's still top side, top river.
Yeah.
So I go bot lane to punish him because he's alone, and Jana can't do anything top side.
Because here I'm surprised that he doesn't get to push this wave on time. That's
why. Just arrive.
Okay. Because here it's arriving now, and he has W and a big wave. Well, either way, right? Even if you catch him on time here, the main thing that I wanted to add is just that you crossing through mid here, seeing at what what occurred in the game, right? Considering that Darius is not looking to contest, Darius is looking to do golems, Syndra is too late on the mid wave, so she needs to catch her wave. There's no aggressive play for you mid, right? So it's just in maybe in a different case you will not be on time on bot, and then you will not be happy with the outcome. You know.
You think I should have went a bot straight, or?
It just I just want you to consider that option, because the reason I'm bringing this up with you is because in my experience when I speak with supports, they build a habit to always open through mid, but you always need to look at the details of, is it correct to go through mid?
Yeah. I normally keep that in mind.
Okay, that's very good, you know. But once again, we are building a repertoire in a very short amount of time, so the pressure's on us. So I want to make sure that I throw all these concepts at you, just to, you know, if you know them, perfect. If not, perfect, you know.
Oh, it's fine. Thank you.
Because in a different case here, if Jin pushes on time, like if you're that good that you knew he wouldn't push on time, God bless you, you know. Then that's good. But if there's a situation where he pushes on time and you don't punish him, you going through mid will feel like a mistake, right?
Yeah.
Even though it's a principled decision to go through mid. Like in a situation where the enemy team is, if Janna is not accomplishing anything and Syndra commit to the top play and she's going to be catching a wave already, like if the situation is different, where let's say the Syndra is contesting and she's pressuring very hard the Veigar, you go behind her to protect her from the Janna, and then just because you're winning the situation mid, you can take the aggressive path into bot. It's very good, right? Like if there is a situation, I'll just open Rift Kit to show it. If there's a situation where one team goes through mid S3 and there's a wave building on the bot side, if they go through mid and they are very strong, let's say they are the ones playing Syndra, Trundle, and they have the Karma and you're the Janna, if you're in a situation where they are the ones winning the situation on mid and can aggressively cross into bot, then there will be a situation where a dive occurs, right?
Yeah, they can dive down.
Yes. And if there's a situation where Syndra is the one pressuring, you can always take the aggressive path back into bot and pressure the Jin like this, right? And the reason I bring this up is because there will be situations where you will go through mid and you will not be able to cross into bot because the enemy 3v3 is stronger. If they are stronger, they are going to pressure into river first, and you will have to take this path, and maybe they can cut you off and cause a problem, and then they slow push a wave. And then to deny this, the best thing you can do most of the time, if you're weak at 3v3, is that you try to break the wave together with your AD on bot before the enemy jungle can act and the enemy mid can act into bot. But this was a particular case where Syndra went for the play into top side.
Yeah.
She'll be able to catch mid on her own, so she used her prior to leverage into top side. Veigar is pushing the wave and she's catching. In this particular case, you know that Janna was on top side. You spotted her, which was a very good thing. You noticed. Then there's a situation where, okay, in mid, there will be no 3v3, and we can break the wave on bot for Jin, and we can create a freeze, and we can punish him. You know?
Okay.
Those are the details that I always want you to look at when you're choosing to open through mid or choosing to open through bot, and sometimes even top. Right?
Okay.
Sometimes there will be situations where, let's say, you push the bot wave all the way, and then the enemy bot lane decides to catch that wave and push next. In that particular spot, it means that you have such a big tempo swing that you can even go into top and you can do whatever, because these guys still need to, the guys who caught the bouncing wave and push the next wave, they need to base, and you have a full minute of time. And at that moment, maybe you can look to fuck with the top laner, you can go into mid, and then you can be back on time bot. Because the beauty of this situation, because the enemy team pushed that wave, your AD can solo push the next one together with the next one, and then it will crash into tower, and you know, you have a big roam window, you know?
Okay.
All right.
What I wanted to ask you here is like,
yes,
I think the wave was pushing towards us. Should we have just frozen this wave?
In this particular spot, after you kill Jin, I think after you kill Jin, it's good to push.
Okay.
Because another thing, right, is you push and you base with more gold, and the wave is gonna slow push into you anyway.
Oh, okay.
So most of the time, if the wave is already there, and you can create a situation where it's still slow pushing into you, it's worth to push.
Okay.
It's like here, the difference in tempo is not gonna be like enough to matter, while the gold can be significant.
Yeah.
Another thing for you, right?
It's a better base.
Yes, yes. Another thing to add, right, is that you can be in a position where you are also hitting the turret with your spell thieves, right? This is also something that in some particular moments can add up and be very meaningful. It can be very big. Another thing to add, right, is in the case where you base right away to keep tempo, that the wave position will be quite similar. So it's just more principle to just hit the wave because you can, and you're there on location and the wave is already there.
Okay.
Because you will lose some of these minions otherwise. It's like even though it's slow pushing towards you, there will be minions that die.
Okay.
So I like, just because you're playing Karma Severe, it's good to push. Like if you played a lane that can't push at all, then it's good to freeze to keep up. Because if you're in a situation where Jin and Janna walk on the lane and you didn't push out on time, you're fucked, right? So you know this. I can tell already. Yes, yes. Here I'm not sure about your gold, so I can't tell if you should base or not. I'm not so sure.
I think I had like 950.
Okay.
Or 800. I'm not sure.
So here Darius is just being a full clear machine. He doesn't want to contest with the Syndra at all. He did wolves.
Playing a bit passive.
Yes, yes. So in moments like this, just because you're so much stronger, Janna's level 3, ideally what you want to do is to make sure that you have vision in river, you control the river just as you did, the Darius is behind you, and if they contest mid for some reason, you destroy them, and then if they don't contest mid, Syndra is pushing, and then you can leverage your pressure into the enemy jungle. You know, so this is very good from your side. This is just Darius deciding to do wolves when potentially you could have done more by just pressuring and going for the Raptors, which ends up happening anyway.
Yeah, I helped them with Raptors too.
And this is also good. Like, this is very good. You're very aware of the time that you have before you need to go into bottom side. You're not losing much. You guys crashed the wave. Very good. Like, this is as good as it can get. Your roam timer and your crossing into mid was very nice. I should just hit you with a little tornado. It is what it is.
Yeah, that was unexpected.
Yes, yes.
But I traded back a bit.
Okay. Yeah, always what you want to do with the wave is always dependent on what you feel in terms of your position. Like if you're scared of Trundle, then thinning out the wave and letting the wave slow push towards you is correct. If you feel like Trundle can't interact with you and you feel safe with Darius being in the river, plain and simple, you just break the whole wave and you're the one being in a slow push position again.
Okay.
So I can imagine that this Janna really doesn't have a lot of spell thief stacks in comparison to you, and you just want to keep that position of you perma pushing and poking. Wanted to see, I noticed on this thing here that the amount of pinks you buy is really crazy. Very crazy.
Yeah, I was really like that game was like really bad. I normally don't play like that. Like I play much better. Like the amount of gold I spend on these wards is like, I don't know.
This is quite.
This is too much. This is
way too much. Especially at the point where you you didn't finish your first core item, and usually like the best use case for pink wards are in. Like, as silly as it sounds, pink wards are very good when big fights are going to occur, because usually, like, denying vision in these particular pockets and the HP of wards being 4, it is very difficult to kill them easily. So usually, it's in my mind, pinks are fighting wards, or in cases where you retake, like, let's say. In that situation before, when I said that you did a very good job, where I mentioned that you opened through mid very well here, like placing a pink ward in this moment, because it's going to be tough for them to clear in this spot, for example, that is like a good investment. But then you just place the single one,
yeah.
Because in reality, with what we've mentioned before, in that moment when Trundle was stepping into river, like here when Darius is level 6 to level 5, this pink ward should realistically never be cleared, and this pink ward will also protect Like I pointed at the banana bush, but even the pixel bush is even better, because this ward will protect you from a gank into river, and it will spot Trundle if he crosses into river, and it will give Darius a chance to leverage the fact that he's level 6 over level 5, and this pink ward will be defended for a very long time already, you know. But yeah, the amount of pink wards that you spend is a little bit too much.
Yeah, it's too much. I was autopiloting. Like, I never buy so many wards normally.
Okay. Okay, we talked about the Drake, he's a psychopath. Talked about this map, open the 2. You wasted a little bit of time. Like, if there's a situation where Sivir needs to be very scared about crashing the wave, because you don't know where Janna and Trundle is, then going into bottom actually makes sense, you know? It just comes down to how are you going to connect into bottom side again. Because if there's a situation where, let's say, Herald was not alive and they're contesting through mid, and Darius is not interacting, like Darius is just doing whatever the fuck he's doing and he's not coming into mid, then they're going to get the mid prio, they're going to hover into bot, and you'll have to take a very long way around, and Sivir is going to bleed a lot off of it. But the key information is that you spotted Janna, and that you had that information, and that Sivir had a tempo advantage over, of course, the Jhin, which allows you some leeway in your decision making.
Okay.
So it's like the main thing, the main important thing here is that Sivir has tempo advantage, and she's a champion that can push very easily. Like that's the main thing. And also you spotted Janna, and all these 3 things allow you to make your decision around where you want to go.
Okay.
But Rando just started Herald, which is principled. But in a world where maybe we drop that ward there because we spotted people and we know that Sivir has a tempo swing, maybe there's a fight that could happen, maybe there's a fight that wouldn't happen, who knows. It's just that you would have more information to play with.
Yeah.
Okay. This is good. Very good. Good timing there on the mantra Q, because you know he has to hit the minion.
Yeah.
Then it's very hard.
Attention to that.
Yeah, this was good. Here, Darius should most of the time like help you guys clear the pink in Tribush. He kind of refuses to. I'm just gonna go take a step back and just look at how you placed your wards, because I think that the timing that you did it was quite good. Like, all things considered.
I expected Trundle to be topside. That's why I.
Yeah. It's like you see that the Rift Herald is dying, and you have a really good timer here to place your wards.
Yeah.
I also like that even though like your ward placements could use a little bit of an improvement, the fact that you are spacing them out good is perfect. Usually the principle, just to add, the principle that you use when you place wards, how do you think when you place your wards? Is there a thought process for you, or is it also just another of those things that you just place them in bushes where they look good? Or what is your thought process for you when you place your wards?
I wanna place them like at spots where I can spot the enemy jungle. Like if I play against Kayn or Zac, I, for example, don't just ward the normal bushes like in the river, because they can gank over walls, right?
Yeah.
Try to adapt to that. But most of the time I just place them on jungle camps, because they have to clear them, obviously.
Yes.
And yeah, then I know where they are. That's like my thought process.
Okay. No,
I'm not sure if I should like
good.
place them in bushes, so I have like maybe more informations. Like at the raptor camp at bush, maybe, I don't know. I don't know if that's better.
As usually, like, having wards in bushes is less relevant, because usually like the idea that you have is good. So you placed these particular wards, right? Like the only blind spot you have is if the guy tries to cross through that pink that I said, right? Or he tries to lane gank, which is kind of unrealistic considering they have Jhin, Janna, and Trundle. The main thing that you want to do is the keywords that you said there. You just want to know where the enemy jungle is.
Yeah.
You don't have the intention to fight in these areas, so having the vision over a particular bush is less important.
Okay.
Like, unless you're actively fighting in this area, then it's less relevant that you have vision in the bush.
Okay.
For example, I'm going to share with you like some really insane ward spots in terms of what you want to achieve, especially in the mid to late game. What you want to think about when you place your wards is you want to put them not in close proximity, because you don't want one sweeper to clear all of your wards. That's very important. And you also want to place your wards in a way where you can confirm which side a player is on. Because usually what League of Legends comes down to in the mid to late game is making decisions based off of which side you are playing towards or which side the enemy is playing towards.
Yeah.
And as an example, with this principle in mind, you just need to know if the enemy trundle is into bot side. That's the only thing you need to know. Like if you know that he's in this part of the map, this will already change how you play. In early game, it's a little bit different because you can play with the proximity a bit. Like if you have Ward in Tribush and you spot the trundle and he's walking like this, you can begin to walk back at a certain point in time and you can play around with him, and you can, of course, depending on your champion, you can do more or you can do less. Right? You mentioned some good examples. There's some champions that can gank a lot easier and pressure a lot easier, and some champions that can't. Right? And the main idea and the main principle that you want to achieve when you're warding for one side, without the intention of fighting in that area, is that you want to see them cross. For example, this ward here behind the Raptor is very good because it doesn't get spotted by pink wards that are usually placed here in a defensive position. But it achieves the same thing. You see people cross. Right? Yeah. If you see the trundle cross here, or all of a sudden you know, okay, he's in bottom side, that's the information we're looking for.
Okay.
Same thing here, like even warding in lane achieves the same thing in a lot of cases. Like if I'm in a position and I've warded these particular areas, I know almost 100% of the time, well, I know 100% of the time that if I spot the enemy cross, either they cross these wards and they're into my side, or they didn't cross these wards and they're on the opposite side of the map.
Okay.
So the main intention is that you're placing wards, as you mentioned yourself, you just want to know where trundle is. That's the main thing. And you've achieved that, right?
I also wanted to see like what he does after the Crux. Like if he clears Crux, if he's ganking or not. That's what I like.
Yeah, this is a very good word. This is a good word, right? What my word placements, they are more relevant. Like these word placements are a lot more relevant later on in the game, you know?
Oh, okay.
Later on in the game, where mid-game begins, like 15 to 20 minutes, and you're just playing this game of you push mid, hover into side, push side, take vision around mid with pink wards, and then the main idea is that you want to place wards that allow you to determine quickly if the enemy is playing towards one side or the other.
Okay.
And sometimes you notice, oh, two people went here, and you only saw two people there. That makes your decision a lot easier. Oh, we are 5 against 3 on top side, as an example. Because if you have holes in your warding, let's say you only have a ward here, and then let's say sometimes the most common thing, the most common thing I see is that people ward like this. You know, it's like, what does this even give? You know, it's like they can come through here, they can pressure me through here, they can. We don't know the enemy's decision before it's too late. Yeah?
But isn't these 3 wards okay? Like if I can't invade and a deep ward.
Like these words are fine in the context of like if you're setting up for objectives, right? Yeah. If you're fighting around certain areas, it's a lot more important for you to have vision on bushes and vision in close proximity, right? Okay. Like if I'm in a position, if one team is in a position where they are on Drake already, let's say they are already pushing around Drake and they took over everything, and then one team is trying to cross into here.
Yeah.
It's very important that the team that is crossing through here, that they have vision here, they have vision here, and they have vision here. Because in a situation, it's very hard to walk here if you don't know if the enemy can be in this bush. Let's say the Syndra is here ready to EQ your team, or an Akali to flank, or there is a Zoe over the wall here that is going to fuck you up the moment you cross this area. These vision spots are very important in terms of fighting, right? So there's always two certain modes to how you want to approach your vision. Right? Often what you see with the LCK teams and the higher end teams in Europe and the LPL teams do is often when they walk into those direct situations, they bring a lot of pings. Yeah. And they place those pings with the intention of keeping track of those key spots in the fights. Because if you have these as blind spots, it becomes very difficult to play. It comes down to the same principle as we mentioned in lane, right? If you're in that bush, you make yourself a lot larger. If the enemy is in fog of war and you're in a position where you don't know any information and you're face checking into here, the enemy Akali all of a sudden is this big. She's this fucking big, and you don't know where she is. She can come from any angle, right? So you want to make her smaller by making sure that you cover your blind spots. And it's the same thing in lane. When you're in that bush, you make yourself this big with Karma, when in reality your range is maybe like this, right? These circles are very bad, but you get my point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like when these wards can be very useful when the game is very contested and it's around the objectives, but in situations where you are the one that has the mid prio and you're stronger, placing those deeper wards to achieve the same purpose is very good, because these wards that are placed here, the information that you want to gain from these wards can be achieved by the minions. The reason prio is important is because you are using the minions as walking wards to spot the opposition, in theory, right? You're pushing the neutral wave, and then the whole family is catching the wave under the tower. Those minions sacrifice their life to give you that information. And then in that position, when you know they're under the tower, putting wards here is less relevant, right? It's a lot less relevant, because you can already enter here freely, and you could potentially place a ward here, or place a ward here. And these wards will be a lot more impactful, right? Exactly. But if you're in a defensive position, it changes very quickly what you want to achieve. If you're in the defensive position, the enemy has prio, all of a sudden the spot that you want to defend is this spot, right? You want to place a ping here. If the turret is alive, you want to defend this area. Let's say you know the enemy doesn't have prio, so you and your jungler is just trapping here to make sure that when they enter, you're going to throw spells at them and fuck with them. It changes a lot in the approach you want to take.
Okay.
A very common mistake that supports make and junglers make is when they think they need to contest mid, and they are standing on the wave and just showing their face. They're just standing there. And then the wave is taken in front of them, and then the enemy enters into here, and they're taking everything, and they are very happy to do so because the whole family is gathered around the mid lane wave. When in reality it doesn't matter, right? If you know that you can't contest the prio, letting your AD carry catch under the tower, and already predicting the next move of your enemy because they want to enter and place deep vision, can be very beneficial to you, and can create new opportunities.
Okay.
But in theory, if you're stronger, you want to be able to place deeper vision that allows you to take decisions quicker.
Okay.
And the wards that these wards can be good if you're fighting. Like let's say there's a herald fight, right? The enemy Trundle is hitting the herald, and you like the situation that we said before. When Darius is coming out here, he's doing his red, and you guys are coming out here. It can be very OP to have vision over here, because these are crucial positions in a particular fight. Or if we are fighting around Drake, these positions become very crucial. This area is always the most important space when it comes to the Drake.
Okay.
It looks a bit like a plane. There we go. Okay. Okay. Any questions, my friend?
No, so far it's clear. Thank you very much.
I forgot what was going on in the game. Oh yeah, we talked about your wards. Okay. No, these wards at this state in the game are decent. Right?
Okay.
Like this ward, this one is a little bit less relevant, right? This one maybe you could have placed a little bit deeper, right?
Yeah. I wasn't sure if Drake is up or not. Like, I think I warded there because Drake is about to come up.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Considering Drake was just recently killed, right? So it's a little bit of time before.
Yeah,
I think it was killed at 8-minute mark. The Drake.
Yeah. What I normally do is like I start warding objectives 2 minutes earlier. Then I recall I get more wards.
Yes. That's perfect. That's a very good principle to have. It's like you want to place. It's like usually the theory is that you want to place the wards that show you where the enemy goes, and then when you have that information, you can leverage the same wards to place them like fighting wards. You know, there's information wards and then there's fighting wards. Is how I like to put it. Yeah.
Okay.
And then of course there's defensive wards too, but they're also like in that information part of it.
Yeah, I think that's more important when the enemy's ahead.
Yes, yes. Okay, Darius just loves enemy raptors. That's all he's doing. Like it's very important that the moment you have any form of trundle information, that you actively look to check the tribush for any pings.
Yeah.
Because they don't know your ward positions, right? Because you warded when you were in Fog of War. But the fact that they have a ping in try shows them that you don't have vision in try. That's more important than them having vision. Yeah. But here the ward on Golem was very good, so you know this is coming, and Darius decides to join.
I tried to bait him here.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know Darius is there.
Yeah, Darius kind of fucked up, but maybe it doesn't matter. You guys are way stronger. It's very good to fight.
He hit like 3 kills. I tried to all in here and flip the fight here because I felt like we were gonna lose the game otherwise.
No, this is like principled, right? This Trundle gets away with murder just a little bit, and I think you were a good actor here. Like you went back to the wave, not showing, like pretending to be scared that the Trundle's there. It was good acting. I liked it. Sivir is...
Here I misplayed really hard. We could have killed Jin, but I tried to finish off Jenna.
Yeah, but those small details don't matter so much. Like mechanical things is really secondary, you know, because
that's easy to fix also.
Yeah, it's also like I'm gonna sit here and say, oh, you could have aimed your Q better. Like that's not really helpful to anyone because everyone knows it's better if you hit your spells on the right targets. Like
that's not so helpful.
Yes. Okay.
That's obvious.
Let's see your map opener now. Still no Shurelia. It's all those pink words that you bought, man.
Yeah, I bought too many. Way too many.
For sure.
I think I didn't buy so many wards in like never.
Okay.
It's like the first game where I ever bought so many wards. I don't know. I don't even know why. They didn't even ward a lot.
Another thing that I want to highlight, it's like everyone's obsessed with mid-prio, but something that is often forgotten is, it's like you want to have mid-prio. Why do you want to have mid-prio? If I ask you a question, why do you want to have mid-prio?
Because mid is like an important lane. Like you can roam to bot and top. You have like more options if you have like a prio mid lane.
That's true, yes. But
it's like my main thought.
But the second layer of it is what is important. What you mentioned there is that you have access to both lanes, right? You have access to both, and you have access to top. But the main thing, the main mistake that often occurs is that the reason you want to have mid prio is because you want to be first into side, right? Yeah. You want to be first into side, and you want to have that initiative.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's situations where mid prio is already a given, so you can skip a step ahead. So it's very important that you're aware of this step. It's like, why do we want to have mid prio? Is because we want to be able to place vision, and then we want to be able to be first into the side where the action is going to happen. Okay?
Yeah.
And sometimes you're going to be in situations where, let's say, Sivir base first and she's already on the wave, or maybe you have wards that shows that the enemy is into bottom side, they crossed here, and you can instantly skip that step of getting mid prio, because you can achieve what you wanted to achieve in the first place.
Yeah.
The mid prio is like the first step in a staircase, but if you can get to the end goal right away, then you know the step is just a step, right? So the reason I bring this up is because this is a particular moment where here, with everything that we knew, like Jin, I believe he based, and Sivir is first on the map because she died, and she's running very quickly because of home guards. The mid wave is already crashing. So already here in this position, mid prio is already a given. You have full vision into bottom side, and you can make assumptions that The enemy jungle is going to go into top side. I believe, I don't remember if we spotted Janna during this. I think we see Janna right now. Here we see Janna. So you can always be quicker to the area and the point of interest through the information that is given to you. Because here, mid prio is a given. Mid prio is already done. You can instantly rush into top side because nothing is going to happen bot. Syndra is already base. Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I saw Trundle top side, that's why I pathed top side, because my Darius was also pathing top.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Very good. Nothing on bot lane, he had nothing to do. So I assumed he has to go top lane and do Crux, or we skirmish.
Very good, very good. It's like in high-level gameplay, usually what happens is, it's like if you're playing enchanters, usually AD and support are always staying together. Like if there's Aphelios Lulu, Lucian Nami, this is what we saw often, like Sivir they are often staying together. But in different cases where there's like a Leona or Nautilus, what often happens, the sequencing, is that if you are stronger around mid, you put enough vision around mid to make sure that your AD can contest the wave without being pressured through Fog of War.
Yeah. So
basically, if let's say you're playing Nautilus, or let's say you're playing Karma and you want to play together with your jungler, you have a Xin Zhao. The main thing here, how you leverage your mid prio, is that, let's say Aphelios is very strong and you guys get prio together, and then you use Fog of War to make yourself as big as possible with jungle and support. You place the vision around mid to make sure that your AD can contest the wave freely, and if they want to pressure him, they need to show. That's the most important thing. It's like they have to show themselves on wards, because if they show themselves on vision and on wards, you'll be able to take that decision first to crash into side and be the aggressor. Because most of the time, even if the enemy has prio, but they need to send 3 people to get it, and you are first into the play, and your AD carry is catching a wave, most of the time teams are not going to be like, okay, we have no information on jungle or support, let's dive the enemy Aphelios.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen, right? So in this particular case, just because you have vision around mid and your Aphelios can walk up, and then he spots, let's say, the AD carry and the mid and the support and the jungle, and the enemy team is in a position where they can't just like bombastic dive your AD without information, then this is a situation where mid prio matters less, because you have achieved what you wanted to achieve. You have gained information, you know? So we continue with the clip, but yeah, the reason I brought it up is because I see you going through mid here, you know, and maybe you could be in Darius's position already, and it could be potentially like a difference maker here.
Yeah.
The thing that I wanted to highlight when it comes to sweeping is that it ties into the principle before of how you want to ward. The most important thing is, it's like for someone to be spotted going through here, there's many wards that people place. Like some people place the ward you like to place, some people like to place this ward, some people like to place this ward, some people like to place this ward.
Yeah, but I realized like the way you put the ward down the Raptor camp, I think that's a good spot, because sometimes there's like control wards.
Yes,
and I put my ward down and it's wasted.
Like this control ward denies like in this circle, but this ward is protected.
That's I didn't know that. It's a good spot actually.
It's a nasty one.
Yeah.
This ward is also like pretty good. This one, because like you can even place it more like here, so you spot people walking passively into lane, and also you spot golems. Like this is a pretty big ward.
Yeah, sometimes I also could put a control ward into the brush there. And I have the same problem as Raptor camps.
Yeah,
it's a good spot. I think I will do that in the future.
The reason I showed like all of these different wards that people like to place, it's like in terms of how you want to use your sweep when mid game and late game is on, is that you want to make sure, like sometimes you know where they warded, right? So that helps a lot.
Yeah.
But you want to make sure that if your team is wants to cross into river, them having 50 million wards here doesn't make a difference, right?
Yeah.
So like being in that mindset where you're just chasing wards just to clear them, playing Minesweeper with wards is not so important, because Sweeper has a very limited time duration. The most important thing is that you sweep in the area that you want to cross. So as long as there's no vision in this area, you're happy.
Yeah.
And then even if they have all of these wards, let's say they have 50 wards like this, it doesn't matter because you can still cross into this side, right?
Yeah, I sweep where I want to be.
Yes, yes. You want to sweep in a singular area that clears the whole path into a specific spot, rather than clearing your whole jungle of wards, unless you know where they are, right? If you know exactly where the enemy placed, you can play around with it, right?
Okay.
But most of the time, if the enemy pushes in and they put vision in your jungle, you sweep, you count the wards, you see they have 3 wards they can place. In the past it was a lot more complicated because jungle had item, and then sometimes top laner would buy a side stone, it would be a big mess. You couldn't really apply this. But 3 wards are placed, and then there's pings too. And most of the time what you want to achieve with the sweeper duration is just to make sure that the path that you want to take is cleared. Sometimes there are situations where you want to contest Drake through bottom side. Then it's important that the enemy team doesn't have vision in that sphere of influence, and that's like the mindset to apply when it comes to sweeping. And then of course, if you're preparing for objectives and you're fighting, sweeper can be used of course to face check into bushes and to clear all of that jazz, you know, vision around objectives, because that's a different conversation. It's like there's vision around objectives and there's vision around general gameplay that allows you to make decisions.
Okay.
We continue. This is fine. Trando shot top side. Here only I'm thinking if there is a situation for you to just go a little bit deeper into the jungle and potentially place wards as you always do. It's like it's good to not be shy. Like even in states of the game like this, it's like Trundle did the top lane turret action. You see the Janna across mid, Veigar is on mid wave. You can look to just place wards and just base again. Like nothing happens as long as no one spots you and you don't die. You keep your wards in your inventory and you remain active, especially in situations where there's no active play for you. Right? So like here you could just drop your wards as we mentioned before, base again, and then open up on the map again, because this mid wave you are quite late to contest it anyway, right?
Yeah.
It's like here Veigar already cleared. Yeah.
To place them top side, because Drake is gone. They don't want to play bot side anymore.
Okay.
It's my thought process.
Okay. Why do you want to play top side? Because of Rift second spawn, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
Like I always switch like sides. If the objective is gone, I normally switch sides. I also look like where my top laner is. If he is like split pushing, I try to give him like a vision.
Okay.
So can I keep pressuring?
That's good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's like these shallow wards around mid are still perfectly fine, because it comes down to the same thing as before. It's like if you put your Sivir in a position where she can get ganked by Trundle while she's contesting mid wave, then you need less people to contest mid wave. For the information.
Okay.
Okay, I'll let it play.
Here I didn't really know what to do because we were like pushing bot and Woody was top, I think.
Yeah, here it's very strange because your solo laners aren't really giving you a lot of options. It's like Syndra should be, like with the wards that you placed before, considering you have a ward on Tribush, you have a ward on the angle that Trundle can go through river. Syndra should be relatively safe here. I think you are on the right side.
Yeah, like, I didn't know where Trundle is. I wasn't sure if the Trundle is top side because Janna was like playing a bit aggressive there.
Yeah, you don't know. Like here, what you did was good. It's like you have secured Sivir. Sivir can push without getting ganked. Syndra is safe. So it makes sense for you to be in topside. This is good principled play. Like you are connecting with your Darius and you guys want to control this side of the river. Sivir is going to push first and move first. This is very good. It's like here ideally you would be in the same position as the Darius, connected with Udyr, because Syndra should be fine. And Sivir should be fine too. And then you should make sure that you're in fog. And then it's very important that as you're moving between these areas here in river, that you've swept that area that you're moving in between, because that's the vision you want to deny. So in case Jana has placed something, like you did sweep before, it was good, right? You swept this world. This is the sphere of influence you want to stay in. You want to stay in this area. Here is a unique situation, right? Because the crab is taken, so that's going to, like, you can't do anything about the crab. But imagine there's a world where there's no crab. You just want to make sure that you and Darius can have free passage between the lanes, and that the enemy needs to consider that Darius and you are on mid, or you are on top.
Yeah. I just moved away because I didn't know where Trundle was still.
Yeah.
Like I moved bot lane, then I saw him.
No, it's like until you spot him on the bottom side wards, like it makes sense to assume that he's top side.
Yeah.
Because him being bot side is not going to have any impact because he will be spotted on the vision, and him being top side, it changes how you need to form your decision. Like if you're stronger 3v3 top side, you should push them out of river. Sivir has prio mid, and you can make sure that Udi doesn't get ganked. Because like what teams like to do when you're in a situation where, or like what often happens in League, generally speaking, is if you can't contest through mid, they're going to look to gank your solo laner. And you want to deny that. So how do you deny that? You make sure that the enemy is scared of you mid, but you first stop. And this is the same principle as we are repeating over and over again.
Okay.
Because here it's weird. You know, you are here in this bush, but you can get pushed out of the bush. Darius is top side. He showed top side. This isn't like super comfortable. This position to be in.
Yeah, it was not a good position. I had to ignite him to proc Nimbus Cloak and go away.
Yeah. Because here the hope is that Sivir can clear the wave before it crashes, and then Syndra is not in danger, and then you at minimum your trading side. It's like I don't know the exact conditions of Maokai right now, but I could imagine an Udyr, Darius, and a Karma being able to dive him if you have Trundle information, which you did, right?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
And then you have to always ask yourself, it's like Syndra should be safe with the vision she has. Sivir has vision around mid, so she can't get like Trundle pillared or some shit. She can Q the wave, be safe. You can be active, you know?
Sometimes I know they have like vision, they should not die, but I'm scared because it's diamond after all. I don't know, like sometimes they play like humans and sometimes they play like not like humans. It's very hard to predict in diamond. Like
it's tricky, yeah, it's tricky. But some things are not solvable by you being there, you know. So more often than not, you will. It's better to not overthink this aspect of the game and just do what is correct.
Okay.
Because in a lot of these situations that we reviewed, we've said the Darius is clearing a camp when he shouldn't clear a camp, you know?
Yeah.
But you need to adjust to that, because in some cases, him clearing a camp will be beneficial to the game. It's like, you can't play in a way that that you should play like, but it relies on Darius. You need to react to what's happening, right?
Yeah,
and
I have to like adapt.
If Darius decides to commit into top side, you should also commit into top side, because Sivir is safe around mid. But if you feel like Sivir is not safe around mid, because sometimes that's true, right? Let's say you're playing Varus mid, and like your AD carry is Varus, and he has no flash, and you're playing Karma, and the enemy team has a Bard. There's no ward in the world that is going to protect him from a Bard ult.
Yeah, that's true.
So all of a sudden you need to be around mid, right? You're playing Lucian Nami. Lucian without Nami, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't exude any pressure. So it makes a lot less sense for Nami to be roaming the map, right? There's examples when you need to be around mid, and there's examples where you don't need to be around mid. So that's the main thing is you need to ask yourself when it's important and when it's not important based over these details. Yeah.
Okay.
We continue. Because here the tricky thing, right, is that like I'm looking at this state of the game. Before I say, what do you think about the state of the game currently? Like right now, the position. If you look at the information available to you.
I should have, like, I wasted too much time here doing nothing. I should have just either did what you said dive top lane if it was possible, or just set up a herald, because we have like no vision. Now I know Trundle is like bot side. Should have just recalled and got more wards and play for top side.
Okay.
Because that's the next objective.
Okay. Yeah, the main thing that is tricky about playing into bottom side is that you need to do it in unison with what Udyr is doing, because he is under the pressure of Maokai having a TP advantage and it being unleashed.
Yeah.
So this makes it trickier. And then if you face check into no vision and you using a sweep into top side, and I don't know how Darius uses sweeper, it becomes awkward to face check into such space.
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point it's too late to base, so I'm happy that you didn't, because now you kind of need to stick around. You've made a commitment, and ideally here once again you are on the same screen as the Darius, you know, because here
I should have just went to top side too and sweep the top side. In my opinion.
Yes.
It was like pointless. They have vision bot side, but it's like it gives them no information. So we have nothing to do bot side.
Exactly. Yes, it's like that's why I wanted to talk about how you use your sweeper, you know, because it's important to sweep relevant information. If you want to sweep all information, you will always like fucking you're going. It's like a rubber band that's gonna snap, you know.
Yeah.
It's like the sweep duration is very short. But usually, just to highlight also like the best play, it's like the moment Syndra decides to connect, Darius should go and start the Herald on spawn, because Jhin is gonna start pushing bot, and you have a man advantage. Like this Herald should be started on spawn, and Maokai should be dove.
Yeah, I agree.
Like if Maokai, like the moment Jhin shows on bot wave, like if he, I don't know if he does, I don't remember what he does. Like he's just doing golems. He's doing the worst out of all options. He's just doing golems. Like if Darius just leashes the Herald, Syndra takes the faster path into mid, and then you are crossing together, and Udyr is hovering, good things will happen. But this Udyr is making the game very hard.
Yeah, it's Zolo lost the game, in my opinion.
But also in this particular spot, right? It's like Janna and Trundle are now in river, and right now you guys have the better position to go into top side, but somehow Trundle is ahead of all of you. Because he's just looking at top, he's like, oh, Udyr is pushed up, I'm gonna go gank him. But in reality here, just because Darius and you are so seen on vision, his play cannot be punished. But in reality, you guys should be in top side river.
Yeah.
And masking this Udyr. So there's a way to view it too, right? It's like Udyr dies to the Trundle, but here honestly you and Darius are the one making the mistake.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. That's my fault. Like, I'm wasting too much time bot lane, doing absolutely nothing.
Yes. Okay. Here also, like, it's a choice, right? Depending if you want to have gold or not. It's like, if you feel like the top play is already over and you're not going to interact with it, you can always choose to just base, get ahead of Janna tempo, and just rush out on the map, place your wards first without needing any prio or needing any help. That's also one thing that you can look to do.
I think I should have just went top side, because I feel like gold on me is like useless.
Yeah, it's like here, there's three decisions you can make. You can base, you can go top, or you can go mid. And the
like
decision,
my habit is like every time in diamond I see like waves crashing, it just hurts me, because it's like and I'm like I have to go farm that. But then I realize I'm a support and I'm karma. I don't scale that well, so I rather go make plays.
I can tell you this, you know, it's like League of Legends is a game of losing as little resources as possible, finding ways, grouping together. That's the game of League of Legends. And in between that, everyone fucking gets caught, everyone dies, everyone does shit. But
yeah,
in a lot of cases, if you are 5 and the enemy is 4, you're going to be better off. Unless you're so fucking far behind and you got stomped so hard. So looking
that is right. I should have just went top, right? Like the wave, I should just let the wave die. I mean,
It's like
Vega cannot take the turret anyways.
it's like I don't want to put you in a position where you play like a robot, you know.
Yeah.
I would rather give you the options and to make you think about the options. But there's principles to how you want to play League, but there is moments where you should break those principles. Like let's say I am Renekton, I am 3-0, the enemy has mid-prio hovering into top, and they are stacking a wave on me. Most of the time I should walk away from the tower, but then I press tab and I realize that I'm stronger and I can actually tank this dive 1v3. I am breaking a principle with good intentions. I am analyzing the situation. The principled play would be to walk away because it's 1v3, but there's something that breaks the principle. Like let's say this would be a situation where you look top, you see the play is over, and you're saying to yourself, okay, I am in a position where I need 150 gold for a very crucial item for a teamfight that is coming up. You are then breaking the principle of grouping with your teammate and doing one play at a time in order to achieve something greater.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you know, these principles that are often thrown around is people say that you should do one play at a time. As a principle, that's very good. It's like, oh, you're ganking bot, that means that I shouldn't be active top, because it means that the enemy jungler either he's counter ganking bot or he's going to pressure me, so I need to keep this in mind. And then everyone aligns behind the same play. It's a very good principle. But sometimes there's things that allow you to break that principle, right? Pieces of information. So the first thing is to master the basic, and then you can expand on it, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But here, this is a habit that many players have. It's like they see a wave dying and they want to go to it, because the game is designed like that. It's like we get a little dopamine hit every time there's this gold. It's like being in a casino. You know, you see these animations of gold coming to our screen. It looks very nice.
It is like a habit I realized in most of my gameplays, and I try to not do it anymore. Because I lost like so many games over this, because I didn't group and my entire team got wiped. I was like, okay, I got away, but I lost the game now.
Yes. It's like
it's so bad.
It feels very bad. And even though it's like your decision might be the best one, but it's not going to be in the context of what your teammates do if they decide to do something else.
Yeah.
It's like the best example I have, okay? There's this competitive game, Fnatic versus Loud. So this is the best example. So we lost this game against Loud, because they really commit to this principle of if we are making a decision, we are going to commit to it, all 5 of us.
Yeah.
And there's a situation where here, this Maokai, somehow, he cleared 4 camps and he has no potions and no HP. I don't know how he managed to do it. Like that's like really terrible. Like he should be very healthy, he should have potions, he should have cleared more camps. He's walking into river when he shouldn't, because Sejuani, with the conditions of Maokai, Sejuani is much stronger. Right now, Maokai is walking to river with no HP, and my jungler is thinking right now, what the fuck did this guy do to only have 16 CS and this HP, no potions? He's out of his mind. And now there's a situation where Sylas is slow pushing a wave into Akali, and the wave bot is even, and Caitlyn and Braum can move first. Right now, Caitlyn and Braum, they're both level 3, and they can move first into river. And now Sylas is slow pushing a wave into Akali, and in reality, if I'm reviewing this, I'm saying Maokai is griefing so fucking hard. He's so boosted, is what I'm thinking, if I'm reviewing this. But what occurs is Sylas commits all the way. Like, look at this situation. Like, if you look at this point, if I just pause frame it here, you see for yourself that this Maokai is completely running it down.
Yeah. It's completely out of position.
But what happens is something goes silly. This fucking Amumu commits all the way. Misfortune commits all the way. This Maokai, no one flashed on him to kill him. Our bot lane didn't. And then the Sylas sprinting in. And then somehow this decision that Loud did that was inherently not good, just because they all commit to it, it kind of had more potential to work out. But most teams, most high-level teams, they will see their Maokai like this and say, you fucking griefed, we're not gonna fucking spend more resources into it. But in solo queue, most of the time, committing to that same decision just because you're all on the same screen will end up being like correct, you know, in more cases than not, you know. That's why I'm putting a lot of focus on how you're paying attention to what Darius is doing, because Darius is playing the game and you can be in tune with that game. Yeah. And he was trying to gank this Maokai a couple of times. If you were involved there, maybe you would have changed the tide of the game, because you are cooperating more with your teammate that maybe you don't necessarily agree with, but you are in tune with what he's trying to achieve. And sometimes, you know, the best tool that you have in game is your way of communicating. It's like if you there's pieces of information that you can give to your teammates that really stimulates your way of thinking. It's like if the enemy team doesn't have sums, to make sure that they know or they don't have vision, this is going to move them in that direction of your thinking. As long as you give that information and really leverage, you know, pings and chat as much as possible, just to make sure that you try to convince players of playing what you believe is the best way of playing League, you know?
Yeah, that's something I also don't do. I like full mute everybody in Diamond, and I just don't talk ever, because like I had it happen so many times that I just get banned, because it's so frustrating with these players. They have such an ego, it is crazy.
No, but you can still full mute, but you can still ping and you can still write. They don't they don't know they don't know that you have them on full mute.
Yeah, they don't know that.
So you can use this. Well, it's definitely a challenge, you know. It's like, you know, the main thing is that the same guys you have in your as teammates are the same guys that are your opposition. So
yeah, that's true.
With time, it all balances out, and players are definitely, you know, the good players and the better players will climb.
Yeah, that's true.
It just the amount of time it takes is dependent a little bit on luck. I think it's important, especially when you start maxing E, when you switch it over, which is good. I think it makes sense in this game.
Yeah, because like I didn't want to poke anymore. I wanted to just peel for CV because she was so huge.
Yeah. The main thing is, I just recommend, you know, just be mindful of how you use your mantra. It's important, especially in those cases. It's like you can get away with throwing mantra cues, especially when you hit a lot of people and you know that you are going to apply the passive. You know, there's some rare cases where it's good because you get mantra backup so quick, but it's also just important to be mindful of how you use your mantra, just to make sure that you have mantra E when it's necessary, you know?
Yeah, I keep that in mind because I'm a OTP, like I think I know my limits. I try to play always around that. Like I don't use like mantra Q, and I know there's a team fight gonna happen.
Okay. Because I
just used it because my E was not up.
Yes. But that's also like a thing to keep in mind, right? It's like you use your E when your mantra is not on, and then you use your Q, but your mantra cooldown is longer than your E cooldown, so the next E you won't have mantra, and then you are off rhythm. You get me?
Yeah.
Like here, of course, this is like here in this particular frame, it's a very big of extension here, in my mind.
That's what I thought. I thought we should just leave the turret.
Yeah, the turret doesn't matter.
And go rotate topside and take the camps.
Yes.
My opinion.
100% correct. You are right. This turret doesn't matter. Gives very little gold, and we've talked about how play is revolving around mid. It's like, even going so far to taking mid inhib in a lot of cases doesn't change how the game is going to be played.
Yeah, we're also 3-man mid, like we share XP and gold.
Yes. It's like you guys could have taken all of these topside camps, which is 300 gold and 300 gold denied from the enemy and a blue buff and crab, base on tempo, open up on the map, and really like even go so far to maybe even pressure Nash. Because I don't know if Sivir is strong enough to buy IE off of base now, because of how fed she is. And you guys are a little bit on a timer, and you guys are very far ahead. I could see a world where you guys just take these camps, press B, open up on the map again, the enemy needs to catch the side lane still, you place wards into the jungle that you just cleared, and then you just start pressuring Nash, because your team can really do good damage to it.
Yeah, I think I should have just backed there, got some wards, so I can set up an objective, and then Sivir and Syndra should just go take blue. So Syndra has blue and they get gold.
Yes.
But yeah, it didn't go that well.
Yeah, of course. Here, it's less relevant what I'm about to say, but it's something to keep in mind as well. It's like you're like a slightly different point. It comes back to the mantra E thing again. It's like if you're in a position where you have E on and you know that you can reduce the cooldown of your mantra with spell, you can also keep this in mind, right? It's like as someone is approaching you, you can maybe W the Maokai and then mantra E the Sivir. It's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, this looks like you guys are sick of this Udyr and want to finish the game. This Nash.
I was like, this motherfucker just team with us, and so we win the game, and then he actually teamed with us, and we lost every fight.
Well, this Nasher decision is mental. Okay. Oh no, that is dead, no?
It was such an awkward position here. It was such an awkward fight.
Yeah, I think you guys just have to run away. I don't see what Darius is doing.
Yeah. That was my mistake. I walked up and I died there. Yeah, I died there because of this.
Yeah, this is just a rough Nash call. Trying to punish the fact that Udyr died. There's nothing much to do there with Udyr dying. The enemy can't do Nash. I think your base was good. If they get Nash here, then the game will be very difficult. If Sivir dies, it's even worse. Okay.
I think they denied Baron here.
Okay. Blue side kind of turned a little bit too early here. Okay. Trundle got Nash.
I think it didn't matter that much because we had like they had like just 2 people alive. They had like a Baron buff on Jina and Trundle only.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. It's more about the goal that is important. We can move on from the Nash. Holy Udyr! This is the first time I saw Udyr on the screen.
Look what happens. We all die.
Ah, it's fucking... Oh shit.
So bad.
Yeah, I think the champs they have are very difficult to play against. It's like playing Darius and playing Udyr versus Janna, Veigar, Maokai, Trundle is super difficult.
Yeah, I think it was like position-wise we just played this so bad. What we have to do is to like just sit behind turret and defend, I think.
Sorry brother, my brother is calling me. Ja, Sammy. Jag avrundar, okej? Jag har tappat koll på tiden. Jag ska avsluta, okej? Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I missed the last part that you said. You said you're defending, you should just defend it.
And, yeah, I think we should have just sit behind her and defend, no?
Yeah, at this point, it's like I'm looking... Sivir is... Yeah, it's like Sivir is not participating. Sivir is out of mana. It's like... It's very bad. It's very rough. It's like, honestly, the game is quite hard already from this position. It's like, Sivir needs to create miracles for this game to be won. Even though she has IE, she needs to finish LDR, and she's relatively short range. It's very hard for her to find ways to trade auto attacks with Veigar. If the Trundle is good, he just keeps Pillar for whenever Sivir autos once. She needs to do like crazy work in order for this game to be playable. It's a very rough game. Just the fact that, you know, like, let's say that they have Nash. Like, they have Nash. Like, already the fact they have Nash on 2 people doesn't matter if they have Nash on 2 or 5. Because in the end, they're not going to look to split or anything.
Yeah, they're grouping.
And if they force you guys to group, it becomes a lot worse. Because in isolation, everyone is strong. Like, if Sivir is on the wave mid and she's pushing, and you and Darius can hover into areas, and Maokai needs to catch against Udyr, then you can leverage they can just leverage their strength, which is in isolated fights. But in 5v5, their comp becomes very strong. It's like Udyr and Darius can really not play. It's like Sivir needs to do some crazy, Syndra needs to do some crazy shit, Sivir needs to do some crazy shit, and you don't really have a champion either where you can like pressure them that easy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be picky, but I notice you mantra Q again.
It's no good.
Yes, yes.
But I wasn't expecting to fight here anyways. Like I don't know why they committed. Like they have Baron buff. They also have better team fighting. I don't understand why we fight here to begin with. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I think
give them fucking turrets, in my opinion.
Yeah, the most crucial point, right, is it's kind of a misconception, like two separate things. I agree that the fight is very bad, right? Sivir is out of mana, she's not around, they're rushing at enemies they're not gonna catch up to. It makes no sense to just try to approach the fight like this. But fighting against Nash, generally speaking, is a good thing, as silly as it sounds. Because you don't want to, with correct play most of the time, Nash is going to allow you to break some towers, if you are like relatively even in the game.
Yeah.
And in terms of combat stats, Nash doesn't give you super much. Usually the approach of the team that has Nasher, what they want to achieve is they want to let the minions work for them, and they want to provoke an engage from the enemy. Yeah. Meaning, like, we walk with the wave, we hit the tower, but you guys need to rush into us. In League of Legends, always the team that is engaging first is at some kind of a disadvantage. No matter what champion you think of, except maybe like Ashe Arrow, most champions that are engaged champions become better when enemies run into them. If you think of Ornn, you think of Varus, all of these abilities become a lot better if the enemy is running into you, because it's just easier to land, and also you are the one kiting backwards, and you are putting yourself in a position where everything can spread, because most of the time if one team is engaging, they are funneling through the same point of entrance, right?
Okay.
That's why, like, if there's a team fight happening, like if the only way that you can break this, right? Like, it's the same if, like, think of a champ, everything becomes a lot easier if the enemy is running into you. That's like the main point of it. Mm-hmm. If you are, of course, doing Drake, and the enemy is looking to cross, if they are looking to be the ones to engage, you can dictate your decision based off of that a lot easier. Like, most abilities become better when you're using them towards enemies that are running into you rather than away from you.
Okay.
Of course, there is nuance where flanking is very good, and you can break positions. Like, if there's a team that is standing on Drake and you find a flank like that and you find a flank like that, then it becomes easier to fight, because those spells that are so strong when the enemy is running into you only happen in one direction. It's like most mages are designed like this, right? It's like if you're playing Syndra, if you're playing Victor, if you're playing Azir, they are designed to control one direction in the fight. If they are forced to split their resources and split their abilities, and they are getting flanked, they can only control one side of the fight. It's like whether it's Victor W, or it's Azir Ultimate, or it's Syndra E, it's always one directional, right?
Yeah.
And all of these abilities become stronger when you run into them. That's why, like, if you try to face first run into a Veigar, Janna, Sivir, if you're running into them, you're going to have a bad time. So you're trying to break their fortresses by flanking. But in theory, most abilities in the game become a lot stronger if the enemy is running into you. It just becomes easier like that. It just becomes so much easier. I just have to thank Elias Lip. Holy shit, he's raiding with the whole with the whole country of Germany. I appreciate it. So do you get my point about how everything becomes stronger when you are the one when teams are running into you?
Yeah, it makes sense. Now I understand why.
It's the same with Darius, right? It's like you can bring this example about almost any champ. It's like Maokai ult can be used as an engage, but if you have to run through the Maokai ult, it becomes a lot more uncomfortable than running away from it.
Yeah.
Or Darius is a very easy example, because Darius, he has a very good time champions are running into him, but if they're running away from him and he has the one to engage face first, it becomes a lot more difficult.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't even know why I went on this tangent, so I apologize. I don't remember what I was mentioning before.
But it's okay, it's very informative. Like,
all right, I'm glad. Appreciate it. Yeah, at this point, this game is very difficult. I have to say.
Yeah. It was very hard to play from this point on.
Yeah, at this point, you are no longer in charge of the fate of the game. The best thing you can...
We had like still a gold lead, but like I don't know, it was like meaningless. They played so much better than my team.
Yeah, it's like the other guys, they are just like Trundle found some kills on side that delayed the game a lot, and it's an easy game for Trundle to play. I'm praising the Trundle, and then he's dying like this. It's a disaster. But I think it's good to end the replay there. You mentioned that you had some questions.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, like, sometimes I see like Muggy Felix, he was like locked mid on Karma, and was like, I wanted to hear your opinion about that. Like, do you think it is worth it when I built that on Karma support? Like, I asked some Karma support players who are like high elo, they're like Grandmaster and shit, and they say it's bad. But I think if the enemy has like a lot of burst, like Katrina, Zed and shit, I think it's not that bad. Or if they have like 4 AD.
I don't mind it too much in cases where, as you mentioned, I think it's good if you're in a situation where you're playing against something that is buying Magic Pen, like getting flat MR and giving that to your teammates actually gives a lot of value. It's also good in games where you actually get value from buying the new Magic Mantle and the item path in general. It's like sometimes, it's like in theory, if you are laning, right, against one opponent, itemizing against his damage type is going to do more in the 1v1 than itemizing damage. Because like the way gold value has been distributed in this game is that if you buy defensive stats, it's only against one source of damage, unless it's health, and you, of course, it only works for you. It's like you can't pass a cloth armor around and use it as a shield. But if you buy damage, it applies to 5 targets and so forth, right? And when it comes to lane phase, if I'm walking to lane with a defensive item and the enemy has an aggressive item, in a lot of there's champions that scale well with items, blah blah blah. But in a lot of cases, walking to lane, if I have a null magic mantle and you have an amp tome, the null magic mantle is going to do more than the amp tome in that moment, if we are just playing an isolated 1v1. So this is like another detail to it. It's like sometimes you're playing a lane where you buy Kindle Gem, and let's say you walk to lane with Kindle Gem and Amp Tome, and you're going to be very weak. Or maybe the difference between having Kindle Gem and Null Magic Mantle is going to be the difference between you pushing or not. It can be a difference maker, you know?
Okay.
And I think that's where it's important. I think for support, I think it's very rare that I would want to go Solari. I think it's a little bit different when you are laning actively against an opponent and you are actively trading, while in bot, I think Karma is strong enough that in most cases you just can get away with getting a Shurelia, which is inherently like a stronger item for Karma.
Okay.
I've never seen myself in a position where I'm like, oh shit, like I need to buy, I'm so fucked here, I need to buy a cloth armor to just be a tankier so I can survive some dives or survive some all-ins. I feel like that's like rarer on bot than it is on mid. Because what I know that people do is like Solari and like Frozen Heart, and they do like this tanky CDR Karma, which is very different from the path that you go as a support.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
That's why I asked.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had one more question.
Okay.
That's it then.
Alright.
Do you think it is possible when I like OTP Karma and that I reach Challenger, if I would play like a Challenger? Like, or do you think it's very hard? Like, I don't think like Karma's like, she has like a few bad matchups that are just unplayable. Like if an enemy locks in Pyke, Bard, or Yumi, I can just not play the game.
I think Karma is right now in the current meta. I think Karma is in a good spot. I think Karma is a strong champ. There's definitely been situations where she was a lot worse. I think
Yeah.
when every game there was a really strong Nautilus, a really strong Leona, really strong these type of champs. I think those games were definitely harder. Of course, you can use one ban, but I think Carmen is in a good state right now that you can get away with picking it often. I think if you improve, I think currently in the current meta, I think Karma works well. I think it's a good time for Karma. It's like I think you can play Karma Kate, you can play Karma Varus, you can play what else? Yeah, I like that. There's plenty of good lanes with Karma. Like in my mind, like if I have the blind pick support, what I'm picking is Karma, Heimerdinger, or Renata, depending on the AD that I have.
Okay.
And that's like the main thing, right? It's like you're blind picking. So if you're comparing Karma blind pick to other champs, it's like if I'm blind picking Heimerdinger, I hate playing. I think Ashe is a rough one, so I like to remove Ashe. Like the long range AD carries, it's harder to hit them with nade. So I like to just remove those things, and then if I'm playing Renata, there's a lot of champions to pick into Renata. Even Karma is good. Like if when you're saying that Karma has counters, other blind picks, most of them have counters too. You know, it's just something that you run into. You know, if you're playing. So, like in my mind, you have one ban to use. Like either you can ban Yumi or you can ban Pyke. I think that's perfectly fair. I think probably Pyke, you can definitely play into Pyke, I'd say, if I had to choose one of them. But I think it's just a preference thing, you know?
Yeah, the problem I have with Pyke is like he just outroams me. I just, my teammates die to him and then I lose the game. That's a problem. Because I think them, they will not listen.
Yeah. So this is like a preference thing, right? It's like how do you feel about it? And I think if you're good enough Karma, for sure you can reach high ranks, for sure.
Okay.
It's like
that's it with my questions then.
All right. Yo, my brother's waiting for me. I need to go to the gym, but thank you for applying, my friend.
Thank you very much, Yamato, for all the stuff you told me. I learned a lot. Really appreciate it, and thank you very much.
Okay, there will be a VOD of it on YouTube, so you can take a look again if it ever like slips your mind or you want to look at it again. Please keep me in the loop about how your progress is going.
Okay, I will. Thank you very much.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Have a nice stream and have a nice day.
Thank you very much. You too. Bye bye.
See you, Yamato. Bye bye.
See you. All right. Yeah, that was nice, guys. That was the first session. We're gonna do one later as well with the full team, which is going to be a little bit different. But yeah, we're going to do it with the full team and see how it goes. That's one of the coaching sessions so far. This was just, you know, me getting used to it a little bit, trying to see what way of communication works, what kind of information is relevant to each ELO group and each role. And it's just something that I need to get used to because it's not something that I'm very experienced with, right? It's like I'm experienced working with LEC level players.